What's up? This is Dominique Beaumonte, and you are listening to Season with Salt, the podcast. Okay. What up? What up? What up? What up? I think when I started my podcast, I wanted to make sure that I talked about things that were both spiritual in nature, biblically sound, but also things that deal with what is going on in the world today. And there are some very disturbing things that I just want to address because I feel like some of the harm that Christians do, I'm not bashing my folks because I'm a Christian. Some of the harm that Christians do often is we are silent on issues, particularly where women, children, etc., are in harm's way. And we got to be careful not to make religion the reason why we quietly allow people to be misogynistic, racist, sexist, etc., etc., etc. Okay? So I just got to hit a couple topics because I just want to get off my chest some of the things that are bothering me, that I want us to be thinking about, praying about, speaking up about, etc. Let me start right now by saying, so I don't know if any of you seen the terrible, terrible, terrible congressional hearing where a few congresspersons, congresswomen and men were kind of going back and forth, and there were some inappropriate things said, okay? And it was not cute. And what you will see in the news is AOC, Marjorie Taylor Greene. So Marjorie Taylor Greene is a congresswoman from Texas. Is she from Texas? She's from Texas. I think she's from Texas. And in this particular committee meeting, there's a discourse between Marjorie Taylor Greene, Jasmine Crockett, and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, or AOC. So let me just kind of give you the high level, like what happened. In the discourse, they're having some conversation about something political. Marjorie Taylor Greene, who is a Republican, says to Jasmine Crockett, well, Marjorie Taylor Greene is a white woman who is a Republican, and she is having back and forth discourse with Democratic African-American woman, Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. She says in this discussion that is about some political issue, she says, I think your fake eyelashes are messing up what you're reading. Now, had nobody said nothing about how someone looks, AOC immediately comes to the defense of her fellow woman of color congresswoman and says, you know what? That's disgusting. It's unacceptable. And that needs to be struck from the record, one. And then number two, she says she needs to offer an apology. So they go back and forth. They're debating, like nothing is happening. I don't know if you watch this, but it's like they're going back and forth. Some people are saying that there was some alcoholic beverages involved. Definitely not on the part of the Democrats, I'm certain, because everybody there is level-headed. So essentially, those who are running the committee, who are also fellow Republicans like Marjorie Taylor Greene, ask Marjorie Taylor Greene if she will strike the comment from the record about eyelashes, about Jasmine Crockett's eyelashes. She is going back and forth with AOC and says, I will strike the comment, but I will not apologize. So that's a whole thing, right? And so she gets away with that. And Jasmine Crockett is like, point of information, I got a question. Since this is not, since it's okay for someone to make a personal attack about somebody's physical appearance at a Congress session, I want to know, to make sure I got her words correctly. She said, I want to know if it's okay for me to refer to Marjorie Taylor Greene as a bleach blonde, bad build, Butch body. I don't know how. First of all, never underestimate the power of a Black woman with a couple of minutes to think about something. First of all, Black women don't even need a couple of minutes to think about something. But do not underestimate their clapback ability, especially after you have made a very, very personal attack. So the news is like jabs back and forth between AOC and Marjorie Taylor Greene, when really Marjorie Taylor Greene insulted Jasmine Crockett, and Jasmine Crockett did not call her a bleach blonde, bad built butch body. She asked if it would be inappropriate from the perspective of the gentleman who was running the meeting, if she were to retort or respond to Marjorie Taylor Greene and say, she's a bleach blonde, bad built butch body. I'm gonna let you Google Marjorie Taylor Greene to determine if she has bleach blonde hair, if she's poorly built, and if her body is butch. You may also choose to look to see if there is the potential that Jasmine Crockett's eyelashes may have potentially gotten in the way of her reading. At the end of the day, is anybody concerned about the direction of American politics? Is anyone concerned about how there is no standard for respect amongst parties? I think we should be concerned about that. I love what, and clearly, let me just be clear. I'm like, Marjorie Taylor Greene was wrong. She should not have come for Jasmine Crockett. I appreciate AOC for defending a Black woman or her fellow woman of color. I also want to read a statement from another Congresswoman who came to both of their defenses. And she said, women of color in Congress are frequently targeted by misogynistic, xenophobic, ignorant people. I've lived it. One of the shameless extremists we work with insulted Jasmine Crockett and AOC and then used parliamentary procedure. Well, no, AOC used parliamentary procedure to demand a standard decorum. And she ends by saying this: there is no both sides. I love that, because if we allow people to say, oh, there's two sides of the story, there's double sides of the coin, or oh, there's another perspective that people are not thinking about. That was Congresswoman Veronica Escobar, who represents where is she from? I don't know where she's from because her thing don't say, but it says she's a congresswoman. She also appears to be the national co-chair of the Biden-Harris administration of some sort. But anyway, she said what she said. There is no both sides of the coin. And when it comes to honor and respect for colleagues, there should be one standard, not 16. And, I just think that if there's the potential that someone's choice in eyelashes impacts their ability to do their job, then one could definitely argue that being a bleach blonde, bad built Butch body also might impede upon one's potential to do their job. I will let you be the person that comes to that determination. Did you all see Diddy in this 2016 video where he assaults, drags, kicks, and throws something at Cassie Ventura? Now, if you've been keeping up with this story, you know that Cassie alleged, well, that's a hard term to say. Allegedly, Cassie alleged that Diddy raped her, that he was doing sex trafficking and a lot of inappropriate things. At the time, Diddy decided to settle with Cassie outside of court. But that pushed along additional challenges for Diddy that we have all become very well aware of, including his home being raided, etc. They asked the Los Angeles, because I guess it happened in LA at a hotel, they asked the LA County DA to respond to this idea that the video could somehow be a part of an investigation. And here's what they responded. They said, we are aware that the video has been circulating online allegedly, depicting Sean Combs assaulting a young woman in Los Angeles. We find the images extremely disturbing and difficult to watch. If the conduct depicted occurred in 2016, unfortunately, we would be unable to charge, as the conduct would have occurred beyond the timeline where a crime of assault can be prosecuted. As of today, the law enforcement has not presented a case related to the attack depicted in the video against Mr. Combs. But we encourage anyone who has been a victim or witness to a crime to report it to law enforcement or reach out to our office for support from the Bureau of Victim Services. Okay. In my mind, I was thinking, okay, this could be a video of anybody. This could be like, I hope there was some fact finding. And there was a little bit of fact finding because it was posted by CNN. But if that is not enough, Cassie's folks responded and said, essentially, in an official message, this is just scratching the surface of the kind of person that Sean Combs is. And it will help you to understand the reason why so many of these things are coming to the surface, is essentially what allegedly her team said. I think it's time for us. So we've been talking about cancel culture, and we've canceled people for far less. Any violence against women, now you might be able to make an argument for sex trafficking if the person who is being trafficked consents to that or identifies it as a career. You might be able to make an argument about that, but there is just no way that you can make an argument that somebody consented to being dragged, kicked multiple times, having something thrown at them. Now, I thought it was funny because Diddy's people also released a statement around the time that he and Cassie, who is now married and moved on with her life, when this happened, they wanted to make sure that everybody knew that the settlement that Cassie and Sean Combs reached was not an admission of guilt. But I don't know, y'all, because there's only a certain amount of money I'm paying for something that I did not do, and it's right around zero. Right around zero. I think from a Christian perspective, we need to have zero tolerance for domestic violence. It is not of God. It is not his will. We need to have zero tolerance for domestic violence, period. And yes, somebody can come to the knowledge of Jesus Christ, repent, and they're sin. They don't, but they are, Jesus is the forgiver. But you need to be careful with people who have the natural inclination to whoop up on somebody that the Bible refers to as a weaker vessel. I don't understand how that. I'm going to move on. Speaking of that, something that has been getting on my nerves that I want to just say, and I've debated about this a lot because I know that people get locked into things, and they like their celebrities and they're fascinated by like people's stories and lives and stuff. I just do not care. I ain't messing with Joe. I'm not gonna call him Miss Netta. I'm not gonna call him that. Usually I'm willing to be quiet about certain discussions. But I noticed, and I'm not out looking for any of these videos because this ain't none of my business. I don't care about, I'm studying to be quiet. I'm minding my business. This ain't got nothing to do with me. But I'm challenged by this particular person because I have noticed that in some of their videos, they're perpetrating violence against women. Now, it's probably any type of violence is problematic, right? Woman on woman, man on man, any type of violence is problematic. But I think we are being dishonest with ourselves if we do not acknowledge that Miss Netta is a grown man well into their 50s and 60s from what it looks like. And if he is not in that age range, I do apologize. Why is it permissible for him to be making videos projecting violence towards women for any reason? Like, it's not funny. It's not funny. I don't understand how it could be, whether it's he's sort of projecting this idea that he's gonna go up and challenge somebody for messing with his man or whatever. Like, it's not funny. And honestly, I think women should say something. But I see a lot of these social media personalities who have declared their gender identity, because that's what it is. It's a declaration, because these days you got to have somebody tell you what their pronouns are, and unless they declare, you don't know. So these people have made their declaration, and then they have used their declaration to cross the line. I seen one video that was so shocking to me. A gentleman said that he hated being the only guy on a girls' trip because it was automatically assumed that he would have to carry the bags and open the doors. What? What? Like, how is that permissible? So people like Joe should limit their, and I'm going to say this is a probably controversial. I have appreciated people like T.S. Madison who are not, I mean, there's some confusion there. Now, I'm not saying that T.S. Madison is not confused, but I have appreciated T.S. Madison's stance on not what's a good way to say this? Not acting like they carry the burden of womanhood. You are not a woman. You have declared yourself a woman, but you were not born a woman. I don't care how you feel. And I can appreciate, and I don't even know why this even needs to be categorized as brave. It's ridiculous. I can appreciate women who have said, particularly some Black women who have been in the doghouse for this, who have said, we can go shopping, we can go out for tea, we can gossip on the phone, but what you're not going to do is carry on as if you understand what it means to be a Black woman when you were born a man. So, anyway, I'm just saying that I appreciate people like T.S. Madison who have said, I understand that I have male privilege, even though I have declared that I'm in a female body and have made the appropriate adjustments to my body to whatever. But here's the thing. Get under them comments and say, I don't think it's appropriate for you to be projecting violence towards women and you are a full-grown man with a, okay? Do that. Jesus. Okay, I just told you I was trying to get some things off my chest. Those things like have just got driven me crazy. Y'all, I think we need to leave Miss Anita Baker alone. Okay, so Miss Anita Baker on Mother's Day was supposed to be doing a concert, and she may or may not have made it. But the concert goers may have made it. And what I'm finding is a lot of times there are all these details in the background that people don't know about, and so they come to an early conclusion. If in fact Anita Baker was in town and was supposed to be there and had some kind of conflict with her contract or whatever that caused her not to be present, I get that. But I want to caution us to be very careful about like bringing the kitchen table discussion to the public eye, because it may have been anything that happened. And if we dump on our iconic and legendary singers when they are not treated fairly in the back room, we potentially mess up their ability in other spaces where they might be treated according to their iconic status. I just think that we need to be careful. And yes, people went to town. Yes, people flew to Las Vegas for the Lovers and Friends concert, and the wind blew, and they couldn't go. Right? Like, yes, there was a lot of that kind of stuff. I'm even of the belief that if I put something in my writer and I get there and it's not there, you are contractually responsible for whatever is in my writer. Now, should the person who attends the event have to pay for a breach of contract between the artist and the company? That no, they shouldn't have to pay. I just feel like we need all the details. We need all the details. We need all the details. In the absence of all the details, we should just talk about it once we get to the Olive Garden. In the absence of the details, we should just talk about it once we get to the Cheesecake Factory. In the absence of the details, we should just talk about it once we get to Red Lobster, if Red Lobster is still open in the town where you live. In the absence of the details, we should just call somebody about it. We should order Wingstop and meet in the kitchen and talk about it there. Now, I know that is a little bit judgmental from the perspective of somebody that didn't fly to a concert spot on Mother's Day for a concert, but I'm just saying, let's have the best. Let's assume the best for the iconic and legendary Miss Anita Baker. And, did you all see there was a gospel artist who didn't show up for a concert as well. And did y'all allegedly see the video about so Tasha Cobbs made a video saying that she showed up at like 8:00 somewhere, but the concert ended at 8:00. And all of the people who were performers were like, nah, we were all here, we were on time. Somebody even performed longer to fill her slot. And then once like the artist started speaking out about the information, then Tasha Cobbs allegedly removed the video, allegedly. And so people were saying, allegedly, she's a liar. Allegedly. But again, she's not an iconic. She's no Anita Baker. I did not say that. I did not say she was Anita Baker. Let's be clear. But I do think that maybe she deserves some grace. Maybe we don't have all the details. Maybe we need to know a little bit more before we jump to a fast and quick conclusion. But don't be making no video acting like you arrived in a timely fashion and you did it. Because Anita Baker, I don't know what her salvation is, but when you profess Jesus the Christ, that ought to mean that your integrity is intact. You know? That's my take. I think that's what it should mean. So, what do we want to close by saying today? We need to respect women. We need to call out people who do not respect women, particularly white women who shamelessly attack Black women. We need to call out men who allow their gender declaration to be the license for being or asserting violence towards women, even if it's just a play or a skit. We need to give Miss Anita some grace until we get all the details about why she didn't make it. And we need to make sure that all of our words are seasoned with salt, because that's the name of this podcast. What do you guys think? What thoughts, what ideas are you having about some of these topics? Did you know about them? Do you care? Let me know.
Seasoned with salt.